hello there. Good evening to you. Thanks so much for joining us tonight at 6:30. We have a pretty chilly day outside. It's one of those days where I woke up this morning, checked the weather. I'm like, oh, I need a sweatshirt and maybe even a light coat. It's warmed up a little bit, but still a lot of temperatures in the 50s. And Joe, you mentioned in our earlier shows that we have some rain and some pretty high wind in the near forecast.
Yeah, that's pretty decent. Yeah. That's late tonight. The wind won't be much of an issue tonight. It'll be toward morning tomorrow. Okay. But it is going to really pick up. You'll probably hear it tomorrow morning a little bit. Windows rattling a little, and then tomorrow afternoon, kind of a blustery day. And we do have more of a steady rain late tonight. As far as the temperatures too, it is chilly. That's going to stick around for a few days right through the weekend. So we'll look at that. If you have weekend plans, we'll take a look at that. And here's the good thing though, Maya, for at least you, it is going to warm up next week a little bit.
Lovely.
I know you like that.
Love to hear that.
Yeah, so we'll take a look at that too.
All right, thank you, Joe. Our top story tonight, a fire chief in Sheboygan County says the way a teenager handled a house fire at her home was a lesson in what everyone should do when faced with the unimaginable. Up North Live's Mary Jane Glynn spoke with the chief and the remarkable young woman who did the right things to protect herself, her younger brother, and the pets inside of that burning home.
My house is on fire. The stove is on fire. We have animals in the house. My mom and dad are gone. It's just me and my brother right now.
It all started when 15-year-old Olivia Hodson-Pillar was in her room and heard beeping and her dog scratching on her door. When she opened it, smoke was everywhere and her dogs were frantic. She screamed for her brother John, got on the phone, and called 911.
We're out of the house. We're walking to the road right now.
She did everything really she could have perfectly. Didn't run around, didn't try to put the fire out, didn't try to get all the animals corralled up and out of the house, got her brother, got out of the house, called 911 first, not mom and dad, and really got those resources coming.
In moments like this, English says every second counts.
By her saving that time from us and not delaying, we took what could have possibly been her house being a total loss to a minor kitchen fire with some smoke damage to the residents.
Just throughout school and pretty much my entire life, I was told, like, if it's a small fire or something minor, then you can just grab a fire extinguisher. But if there's smoke throughout the house or something like that, then you should get all people out of the house first before getting animals. And if you are already out of the house, do not go back in, wait for fire people to get there.
Should I call my parents or should I stay on the line?
Just stay in line with me.
I still see the fire in the house. I'm just worried about the bird and the animals.
Thankfully, the dogs, cats, and the birds were rescued.
So I'm just mainly doing this that way if anyone else is like babysitting their younger siblings or home alone and they're around my age, they just know that, hey, I did it, you can too. Because I just don't want anyone else to like lose a house or a kitchen to a fire when they have kids or animals in the house.
In Sheboygan County, Mary Jane Glynn, Up North Live News.
And that night, the family slept in a yurt in their backyard on pool floaties or anything they could find that wasn't ruined from smoke and soot. Right now, they are staying at a hotel with 3 of their dogs. Well, across northern Michigan, it's typical to see ORV use on different trail systems, but one county says they're seeing a slight increase in incidents on those trails. Our Allie Baxter reached out to one organization to ask about some safety tips. She spoke with the Northwest ORV Association today, and they told her that since the club started nearly a decade ago, they've seen a lot more people interested in hitting the trails with an off-road vehicle. Here is Allie with more.
And when we formed it, it was to get the ORVs. They were starting to become popular.
Milt Lewis is the president of the Northwest ORV Association, a group that organizes rides for its members and also...
For 3 years, I think this is our 3rd year, we groomed 42 miles of trail in the summertime for ORVs.
Since the club's start, Milt says ORV use has exploded in popularity. Even in his observation, overtaking the amount of interest in snowmobiling.
Know your machine, don't override your machine. Most machines can go quite fast.
That's just one of the safety tips Milt shared with us. With more ORV use happening, he says the club wants to make sure its members are being safe on the trails.
Probably number one is don't drink and ride. Two, if you see where there's a crossroad, just slow down and make sure nobody else is coming.
Milt also says these trails can change constantly, even in a matter of hours.
It's been some years ago. I was actually on my snowmobile, but I actually went down a trail. About 4 hours later, we came back, and there actually was a tree that had fell across. So you've always got to be aware of what's in front of you and off to the side of you.
Milt says speed is another safety issue he notices.
20 to 30, 35 mile an hour range is plenty fast enough. So don't go so fast that if something popped out, that you can't stop in time.
In September 2024, the Grand Traverse Sheriff's Office had responded to at least 13 ATV or side-by-side incidents. Now, in September 2025, deputies have responded to 14 of those type of incidents, a slight increase, but Sheriff Mike Shea points out there's many more minor incidents that happen where 911 isn't called. Those 14 are serious injury or deadly crashes, a number Shea hopes to decrease with adding ORV patrols.
If they're out there, and people might be more cautious of how they're riding.
That was Allie Baxter reporting. We did ask the sheriff when his deputies will start off-road patrols. He said they are still outfitting their side-by-side and having a radio installed. We will update you when they start patrolling. Well, let's take a look at our question of the day related to ORVs. Do you use off-road trails in northern Michigan? Scan the QR code on your screen right now to vote. You can also head over to our Facebook page and leave a comment, maybe how often you use the trails or where your favorite trails are, anything of that nature. And at the end of the show, we will take a look at the results and some of your comments. Right now, it looks like 54% of voters say yes, they do use off-road trails in northern Michigan. We'll see if those results change a little later on. Well, speaking of results, as new test results show PFAS contamination in private wells north of Cadillac. Tonight, we are learning that while most levels are considered safe by the state, they exceed federal limits. Nearly every private well in Herring Township showed signs of PFAS contamination. Out of the wells that were tested, 33 out of 34 properties. 3 of those wells came back above what Michigan considers safe to drink. The state's PFAS Action Response Team is expanding testing west of Plett Road and up toward Boone Road. Homeowners with any level of contamination will be offered free in-home filters, and more sampling will be done in the coming weeks to give a clearer picture on how far the contamination has spread and where it's exactly coming from. To education now, Michigan's K-12 schools could see a 25% increase in per pupil funding, but it may come at a cost. The education budget proposal by House Republicans is drawing both praise and criticism. We looked into what's at stake and what it could mean for schools across northern Michigan.
A bold shakeup to how Michigan could fund its public schools.
Our plan has more dollars allocated to schools than ever before.
House Republicans' proposed education budget boasts the highest per pupil funding in state history.
$12,000 per pupil funding.
Currently, the per pupil funding is $9,608. That's a nearly 25% increase.
I think it's a really positive thing.
But where is that extra money coming from?
We got rid of a lot of the categoricals.
The state's 2025 education budget included 128 categorical grants. These targeted funds cover a wide range of purposes, like free meals, special education, and school safety.
For us, those are very, very important categoricals.
According to the Michigan Education Association, the proposed categorical cuts include $259 million for mental health and school safety resources, $200 million for free school meals, and $137 million for transportation and other unique needs rural schools face.
These things that are the specific categoricals, they matter for us more than they might a district downstate that's very small in geography, but with many students.
House Republicans say removing many categoricals and putting that money into the per pupil funding would give districts the freedom to choose how they spend their money.
Let's say there's $100 in this budget for a school, and how it used to be done was there's 10 buckets with $10 each in them, and you had to spend those certain dollars on certain things. We said, no, we're just going to give you the whole $100 and you can spend it the way you want.
But that flexibility has leaders in some northern Michigan districts sounding the alarm.
I do not support that budget proposal because we would lose the opportunity to support our students in Cadillac for those programs that really ensure that our kids are met with supports that lead to success.
If you're a district that has more kids that are in poverty, it costs more to educate. If you have large transportation miles you have to do, it costs more for busing.
Superintendent Van Wagner says about 85% of TCAP's total funding goes towards salaries and benefits, leaving only 15% of funding for everything else.
We really don't have a lot of discretion with much of that 15% that does have to be used for busing, for all of the other things that we do across the school district and general maintenance.
A big categorical many are worried about losing: free breakfast and lunch for students.
So if they want to do free breakfast and lunch, they can still do that. They have the choice.
They have that choice if there's enough money for it.
And you have to pay for buses, and you have to pay for salaries, and you have to pay more for health insurance or more for retirement to the state, then that really doesn't balance out and you don't have enough to do everything.
Representative Fairbairn says the plan offers the most flexibility for districts and their students.
For the schools, they can just decide what they want at their local level.
Although it would provide flexibility, it really is diverting over $1 billion from K-12 education. And for a rural school district who serves students in high poverty and at risk, we're looking at really reducing our ability to support kids in special education, safety, mental health, rural transportation.
Supporters say it's about empowering local control, but for many districts, that flexibility could come with tough choices.
We're hopeful that a resolution comes out that's a win-win for all kids, and especially Northern Michigan's kids.
The state budget now moves to negotiations between the House, Senate, and Governor's office to develop a final product. Meanwhile, schools across the state started the new school year without a finalized budget. It's the first time that's happened in Van Wagner's 10-year career as a superintendent. One more story to share with you tonight before we take a quick break. A universally accessible trail is now open in Charlevoix County. The new trail at a 56-acre nature preserve is giving you another great place to explore the great outdoors. Meteorologist Ethan Foreman spoke with the Little Traverse Conservancy to learn what makes this project so unique.
The Little Traverse Conservancy says this stunning piece of land is the largest undeveloped, unprotected shoreline preserve that stretches from Charlevoix to the Mackinac Bridge.
Landowners find us, and before they even put a property on the market, they give us a call and say, hey, I want to sell this beautiful piece of land. My family needs to sell it for whatever reason. And the important thing is we want to protect it. Is there any way we can partner together and still have a sale and a protection?
And that was the process in acquiring what is now the Place of Peacefulness Nature Preserve.
We then reached out to the landowners and started a relationship. Big thing about protecting land is we want to work with people who want to work with us, people who want to protect land for people, not from people.
There are a lot of amazing views within this nature preserve that makes this special for anyone to enjoy.
It's one of our first universally accessible trails, which means it's predictably smooth. It's not always flat because there is elevation changes on that property. But that was a really significant thing to have the ability to go into nature. That would be very special.
Hughes wants to thank everyone who is able to donate to protect this land and make this project possible. In Northern Michigan, Ethan Foreman, UpNorthLive News.
And the Place of Peacefulness Nature Preserve is open to the public year-round. It's off of US 31 near the Charlevoix-Emmett County line. Visitors can enjoy hiking, nature studies, bird watching, snowshoeing in the wintertime, and other activities. All right, we are going to take a quick break, but coming up next, Joel will have much more on your forecast for your Friday and a look ahead to the weekend. Still looks pretty chilly, maybe a little wet. He'll have all those details for you in just a couple of minutes.
I'm Jada Johnson from Big Boys TV, and the Fish and Game Report is sponsored by Johnson's Propane.
Kind of feels like Mother Nature knew that NFL football was returning today, because it certainly feels like fall football weather out there. A chilly one across northern Michigan. It sounds like that'll be the case for our Friday and even the weekend, right, Joe?
Yeah, I mean, temperatures should be in the low and mid 70s, and we'll be in the 50s for most spots the next few days. So, yeah, it does feel like football weather out there.
Yeah.
Even tomorrow night, we have high school games. Of course, tomorrow's Friday, and kind of a windy, wet feel out there tomorrow night, too. So, it's that time of the year. And look at the clouds. This is earlier UpNorthLive Skyview drone over Traverse City, and these are lake effect clouds and even some showers. Were coming down earlier. This is flying and soaring over Traverse City earlier today. Dan, our drone operator, taking the drone out earlier today, and yeah, there it is, look over downtown Traverse City. Although you can see in some spots there a little blue sky peeking through too. High temperatures today, it did not warm up much. We were in the 50s for just about everybody. This is the warmest it got today. Charlevoix, your high 59. Same thing at Petoskey, Harbor Springs. Sheboygan reached a high of 60. Big Rapids and Ludington both at 61. Cool weather though, even right now. Take a look up north of Lake Superior. Pickle Lake in Geraldton, up in Ontario, 38. These are the current temperatures. It's a chilly one up at Marquette right now, 54, 55 currently at Sault Ste. Marie. If you look off to our west though, out toward Minneapolis, you see that L, low pressure. That is going to track right toward the eastern UP tonight, and that is going to bring in some rain later tonight. You can kind of see, I'll expand the view out here, all this rain to our west, and that is tracking toward northern Michigan. So a few showers this evening, then late tonight, here's the steady rain right there. This is 2, 3, 4 in the morning, 5, 6, 7. The wind picks up, and then showers behind this tomorrow afternoon and evening. Kind of a blustery day tomorrow. As we head into Saturday, we're looking at a few showers. And that's a little bit of lake effect rain Saturday afternoon and also Saturday evening. As far as how much rain through Saturday, the blue shaded areas, especially in the UP, could see up to a ½ inch or more of rainfall. Everybody else kind of between that maybe 1/4 to ½ inch range is expected. And then Saturday night showers, and then even Sunday. It stays just cool enough for a little bit of lake effect rain their Sunday afternoon. Partly cloudy and then some showers. Now, I want to get to the rain, or rather the wind. Watch what happens late tonight. Right there, winds gusting out of the southwest. This is around 5, 6 in the morning. The wind's going to pick up quickly, 30 to 40 mile per hour gusts. And then the wind will be out of the west or northwest tomorrow afternoon and evening. So kind of a gusty stretch coming up here with a little bit of that rain. And as we look at the extended forecast, yeah, 50s Saturday, 50s on Sunday with those passing showers. Then it looks like just in time to head back to work and school, of course. Dry weather. We do get back into the 60s, some areas back into the low 70s Tuesday and Wednesday. So temperatures will be in the 60s, low 70s next week, but we still have a few days of 50s. And the other thing, just know it's going to be kind of a windy day out there tomorrow, Maya.
Good to know. So if you plan on going to any football games tomorrow, just pack accordingly. And speaking of those football games tomorrow, we are going to check in with Sports Director Harrison Beebe straight ahead. He'll have a preview of some of the top matchups of Week 2 of high school football straight ahead. We are looking ahead to week 2 of the high school football season on Friday night. The Kingsley Stags once again take one of the feature spots in our games of the week, while one conference looks pretty strong to top to bottom so far. James Cook joins our Harrison Beebe. James Cook is from the Traverse City Record Eagle and our latest Jimmy John Sports Corner.
The way Kingsley's schedule just works out, their non-conference, their conference, their whole schedule is pretty intimidating, which leads to them being in marquee games every week. And that's once again the case here, going up against Gaylord for the 4th year in a row. They're 1-2 overall against Gaylord, but they beat them last year.
I've been at this game the last couple of years, and it's just been a good game each time. Just two teams just kind of slogging it out and beating each other up. And, you know, Gaylord's a much bigger school, but Kingsley's done a pretty good job of hanging with them.
You know, Traverse City Central got a pretty dominant win downstate last week against Nova. I'd say that, you know, in a way states that the Trojans might be back, but they're downstate again this week against Parma Western. What do you think? Can they go 2-0?
Traverse City Central really made a statement in week 1, going on the road against Novi and winning 46-3. I mean, that was just something I think that really kind of, like you talked about, maybe put Central back on the map after a little bit of a down period here. I think that Central could be right back here in the Saginaw Valley.
Traverse City West did not get a win, although their opponent tougher to beat last week. And Howell Titans quick turnaround. They're at home, but the big rivalry game with Grand Haven. I saw Grand Haven got a win last week. Is this going to create problems for West to avoid going 0-2?
I mean, they played a really good Howell team that's ranked about in the top 20 of the entire state, regardless of class, and they only lost by 10 points. So they made a pretty decent game of that. I think TC West has a lot to build on from that game.
You know, I want to give a shout out to the NMFC Legacy Division. It's the smallest schools in the Northern Michigan Football Conference, but 4 of them got wins last week, and Glen Lake is the reigning champ. They lost, but they lost to a really good opponent in St. Francis, and Johannesburg-Lewiston barely lost in overtime. Harbor Springs getting their first win in 4 seasons. That's a big deal for the Rams. Do we have a pretty good competition on our hands for this Legacy Division title this year?
I think so, and this Frankfort-Glen Lake game will go a long way in establishing who one of the front runners is.
A lot of good matchups tomorrow. Looking forward to those highlights at 11. Also looking forward to looking at our final results for our question of the day here on Unscripted in just a couple of minutes.
Salon services are furnished by Epiphany Advanced Academy in East Acme.
Welcome back. We are checking out the live results for our question of the day. Do you use off-road trails in northern Michigan? 56% voting yes, 44% no. Over on Facebook, quite a few comments. Matt says, one of the reasons I live up north. Steve says yes, although not easy to do so ever since the ice storms. A lot of people say yes. Mike, all the time. Justin says yes, almost every weekend. Join the conversation over on our Facebook page, but we are all out of time here on Up North Live Unscripted at 6:30. As always, thank you so much for joining us. We hope to see you back here at 11 o'clock tonight.